Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news.
Hey, kia ora koutou e te whānau. Welcome back to another episode of Big Hero News. Kia ora, Chewy.
And kia ora to you, Pat. How are we doing today?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. We've got a lot of exciting planning to tell the whānau about, that stuff we were talking about before the show. And I'm thinking maybe before the end of next week, we might have to have another family meeting because we're looking at 2026 and there's lots of exciting things going on at the moment. So yes, I've spent most of my day doing exciting things that I'm not going to talk about yet, but they're exciting for both me and hopefully for all of us as well. Is that okay? Is that I had a conversation.
I think that covers it.
Okay, had a conversation with my my two daughters at home today, and they had a complaint, and I was wondering what we thought about this. We'll do that one. Your dog, Ilva is a better way to say it. Is that properly? Ilva.
Well, it depends. If I listen to my friend from the region, it's Ulva. But
Yeah.
but we say Ilva.
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 Bitch or dog?
I think she's really nice.
The complaint from the 15 or the 19-year-old was the eyebrows make it look weird and where are her eyelashes? Of Nala, that is, not of yours.
I think
but
they need to take that
Ilva,
up directly with Emily.
I don't need to. It's fantastic. So for people who didn't see last night, the new merch about to come out. We'll probably even put it on next week, I think. I'm excited about it. Now,
Actually, I've just had a thought.
yeah,
Our
this is scary.
dogs have never met.
I know. We keep saying, let's go to the beach. Let's do a meet-up and a play date. And, you know, I think my dog will be okay with your dog because my dog's a bit nervous. Oh, I took a video of her today. I haven't even sent it to myself. A bit nervous. And, but your dog's so short, I think. Kids know nothing. We agree, Ems, because I told him to go get bent. Because my dog's taller than yours, so I think it'll be okay. She's a bit nervous around dogs that are bigger than her. But yours is yours is broader. Yours is like a power lifter, but in a lightweight division. Yeah. I want to share something as well.
I'm going to ban someone. I'm going to ban someone straight out of the gates.
Oh, what's going on?
What the hell? You saying my dog's ugly, bro?
Yeah,
You saying I've got a ugly dog?
Yeah,
I'll
bro.
fight you.
I did a video of Nala today at the park, and I'll show it later on. I'll have to video. I'll send it through what's going on. Something else, which I thought this is one of the greatest. It's not. I don't know if you call this a meme technically, but it's one of the greatest manipulations of video I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, I know it's a big call, but you wait to see. Do you remember what Kieran McAnulty said this week was the thing that annoyed most people? Was when he called Luxon a dud. Remember that? So I got tagged in this last night.
Okay, Bart, your turn. You got the dud. Okay, Bart,
Isn't that just perfect? Like, you got the dud. Isn't that just I don't know who made it. Who shall I say thanks to? William sent it to me, or tagged me in it at least. Bloody brilliant. Bloody genius. Absolutely.
I have to say, while we're talking about this, like for those of you still on the Meta apps and that sort of thing, especially Instagram, the account Luxury Marmite Sandwich has some of the best content. God, it's good.
All right, let's get into the show. Big old show tonight. I was enjoying the Bradbury Group at the moment, and there was a couple of really interesting conversations in the last couple on last night's show. It's not really thematically like they're not really thematically one thing. You know how often we'll show like a conversation around this thing. But there was just some interesting points that came out. Pene Hinari brought some interesting thoughts out, and as did the beautiful Simon Wilson a couple of times, and Bomber as well. So I want to have a look at a few things that were said. The coalition of chaos leaders will not be attending the celebrations at Tūrangawaewae Marae this week for the 1 year anniversary of the passing of the king and the 1 year mourning of the queen, who's now going to speak. And they've been like, nah, not going to do it. So
I was surprised about that.
I was talking to my 19-year-old today. She's studying teaching, right? And she's like, "Dear, what do you know about this eliminating Māori words from school books and stuff?" And she goes, "Because I read the rationale behind it, and it kind of seemed to make a bit of sense." And I'm like, "Well, this is the problem. They can point to advice to say why they're doing it. It might be bad advice, but they can actually point to advice, right? There are lots of academics who say that is bad advice, here's the right advice, but they can do that. The problem is when you line it up with things like cancelling the Māori Health Authority, changing the names on government departments, you know, all these ways that they're kicking or kneeling on the neck of Māoridom and te reo issues. I said to her, you can't have this one thing, te reo, in kids' books in isolation. It has to be a part of all the other things. So even if they were being honest actors, they just happen to be looking at the wrong parts of academia for their advice. So in other words, even if they're doing it out of an honest mistake, it can't live in isolation because there's all these other things right through the last 2 years, which it just becomes another one of. So now back to Tūrangawaewae, same sort of thing. I mean, if Luxon's off doing Luxon things internationally and there's reason, you've got to put that alongside all the other things, like not going to Waitangi, that they're going to pay disrespect to things of Māoridom as well and just say, that's another one. And of course, Tama Pōtaka, their token has been led up their lamb to the slaughter, so to speak, Joey.
Yeah, even if it was for the most mercenary reasons at all, of like, hey, we've copped a lot of flack over Māori issues, maybe we should put in an appearance here. Even if it was just that, just for the optics. But yeah, they're not even seeing that. They're not even seeing the opportunity to go some way into making good.
Yeah. No,
giving themselves a little bit of camouflage. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope people don't hear me saying that we find their reasoning believable. I'm saying even if it was believable, which we're not saying it is, but even if it was believable,
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I've lost you. Okay. I am seeing in the chat that Pat is frozen, but you guys can still hear me, and Pat is gone. Okay. Wow. So this is where I tell you guys that Pat is the person that plans out all the show and has some clips. So I'm going to see what I can salvage here. Please bear with me. I haven't even had a chance to look at the news today. Pat has lost his internet. I must pad for a sec and he'll try to get back on. Well, let's open it up to chat because that's always the best way to pad. How's your day been, everybody? I'm seeing support come in. And no, I'm not feeling the pressure at all. Thank you. Cool as a cucumber. Let's talk about the things that I can affect tonight. I am now, I believe, 12 days away from going to London, and this is when the algorithm starts serving me information that London is a horrible, violent place. And it's good news that there's only been 58 stabbings this year. So yes. Oh, okay. Look, this is something I can talk about. Very short says, Chewy, did you see the Te Whatu Ora have been caught lying about staffing? Yes, I had this story on my Facebook page. Basically the thing that I saw about that was just the absolute stats of how understaffed and how unsafe nurses have been, and for how long that has been the case. And I told a workmate of mine this today, and he was just like stunned. I'm just trying to find it. God damn, Pat's internet. That it was something like 90%. Oh yes, figures show 38% of shifts were short-staffed in 2022, 40% in 2023, and 37% between January and November of 2024. In some wards, staffing fell short of safe levels, and that's where demand for care exceeds the nurses available to provide it 90% of the time. 90% of the time, they didn't have enough nurses for what they consider safe staffing levels. I found that shocking. Oh, Pat has come back. Or is about to come back. Oh, look, it's Pat's back. Pat, the man with the script of what we're talking about. I am echoing, however.
No, it's me. It's because I'm playing you.
Oh, right. That's the lag. Oh, Pat.
That's the first. That's a first.
Yeah, don't do that again. Very scary.
Did you poo your pants?
God. Oh, well, look, it just goes to show, and as I said at the time, you're the person that does the prep. You're the person that lines up the stories, the clips, all of this sort of stuff. I'm just a vessel for reaction. And of all days, like today is a day that I have not had a chance to look at what's in the news, to form an opinion on anything. I felt like I was drowning. So thank God you've come back.
No, I lost internet. The whole house lost internet. It's the first time that's ever happened, in and amongst the show that it's happening. I mean, it's always something that could be there. But yeah, it's the first time it's ever happened. So how about that, eh? Is everyone okay?
So please edit that out of the show, because there's a bit where when you freeze, I tend to stay in place just in case it's my connection.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, I've completely gone. Yeah. And so I dropped out, and then you dropped out. And
you dropped out as well?
No, I didn't drop out. I thought I had.
Oh, right.
And it was just, I saw in the chat everybody going, no, Chewy, you're fine. Pat's frozen. So you're lucky I didn't jump out completely. Would have killed the stream.
Oh dear. Let me just check, because I've only just got back on, which means I might have to reboot all the videos and stuff. So we're just going to check that we can hear video. This is why we're the professionals in this world, whānau. Yeah, that was interesting. I actually was thinking, what do I do? Because I could have got on this and got on data, but then we would have had no stories. We would have turned it into just a sort of chill night, I guess, as opposed to the horrific piles of neoliberal bullshit we're about to bring you. Just have a listen. Oh gosh, everything's running real slow though, man. Like I'll just push play on a video and it's just going dum-dee-doo. What happened on my end was I got the double wheel spinning wheels of death, like one over your face and then me as well. And I kept talking for a bit and I was like, oh man, then I kept talking and then I was like, oh, this is not looking to, here we go. Let's see if we can hear this. Super quick, super easy.
Yep. Cool.
Yep. All right. What I think will be good. I mean, I think the only thing that may happen is all the videos I've got queued up, if I push play, they may kind of be a bit jerky at the start and I might have to reboot them. But here we go. I'm not sure what Ian means. Milli Vanilli? Who is that? Means we're mouthing it, but we're not really here. Someone else is speaking on our behalf. Is that the way it is? Yeah. There you go. See, look, they were looking forward to it. Chilling with Chewy. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel very chill. Didn't feel very chill at all. I'm terrible at padding.
All right. God, you'd never go good at talkback then, bro. Those 40-minute gaps at 2 a.m. when no one's calling in. And you literally have to. That's where your 50 pages of prep come in. All right. Now I have already reset up this, but so let's start with the national government. It seems that the national government, this is always one of two. There's two parts here. Yeah. One is they messed up majorly changing funding for the disability sector last year. We know that. We called that out, and so they've reversed it, but. Their reversal is a bit like, oh, nothing to see here, we'll just reverse it. And it seems that the disability sector, maybe not what they want most of all, but certainly a part of it is they're like, hey, how about like an apology for this 18 months of shit you've put us through? No, we'll just change it. Let's have a look what was announced today.
A year and a half on from the government's trainwreck handling of changes to disability funding, a new model has been rolled out. Gone are controversial limits on how parents and carers spend their allocated budgets, making way for more flexibility and freedom. While the sector's welcoming it, many still want an apology for the way it's been handled.
For sure.
As Lloyd Burr reports.
It's been 18 months of...
I have to apologise because I watched both 1 and 3 tonight when I was looking at this. Hopefully it's in this one. The minister actually does the opposite of an apology. She stands by the decisions they made 18 months ago, which they're now changing, which is an acknowledgement that they were bad, but she stands by them. It's quite surreal.
Protests and petitions in the disability community, that pressure finally paying off today.
We've taken the community's feedback on board and will bring back more choice and control for flexible funding.
Louise Upston cleaning up the mess left by previous Minister Penny Simmons, who had presided over botched budget restrictions that blindsided the sector.
The last year has been incredibly challenging for many disabled people, their families and carers.
Challenging because Simmons clamped down on what could be considered frivolous spending.
Yeah.
Funding has also been used for massages, overseas travel, pedicures, haircuts for carers.
Because the last thing we want to do is fucking humanise those disabled people, allow them to feel a bit better about life with some help from the government. That'd be a terrible thing. Oh, hey, now speaking
Such a
of,
witch hunt.
completely off topic now, got an email during the week. You know the lady that's been at all his stand-ups? She shares the office with him in Botany. So they share an office in Botany.
Oh, there she is there. Yes.
Yeah. So someone messaged me during the week, I can't remember who, sorry, and said they share an office. So it's a bit weirder even still. It's like you got to bring your workmate along with you everywhere you go sort of thing. So that's another layer to this conversation as well, which is not the conversation we're having right now. I'm sorry for the tangent.
Prompted a backlash from the community, a partial backdown, and the sacking of Simmons by the Prime Minister.
The right person to lead that work and do that work is Louise Upston.
Yeah, it's always good when the leader blames someone else and throws them under the bus, doesn't take accountability or responsibility themselves, like a good CEO would, Chewy.
In Upston 18 months, but today the revised plan was finally revealed.
The purchasing guidelines will be removed entirely.
Replaced by a new system where each disabled person is assessed and allocated a budget based on their needs.
Can I just say, Chewy, this is becoming a bespoke way of doing things, which always is exponentially more expensive as well. So this is like that classic example around COVID when some people were getting COVID payouts that weren't in the country or didn't need it. But we realised and we were told that to actually go through and work out every single individual case of who was getting what would cost so much more than the 1 or 2 or 3% of people that didn't need it. So in other words, it was the right fiscal decision to make. There is no way that they're going to be able to roll this out and it not be far more expensive when they have to look at every single person and every single case, rather than just doing a blanket rule for everybody and giving them all a good amount of money. So this is going to be a part of what you hear. This government is obviously saying we got this so very, 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 very wrong that we're now going to spend more money than we need to fixing it up when we could just pay everyone more and it'd be cheaper. So they're actually acknowledging how bad they fucked up by what they're doing now, even though they won't acknowledge it. They are acknowledging it, if that makes sense.
I think on its first pass, like these 3 bullet points that are up on screen at the moment, it doesn't seem too bad to me. But
And
I
that's
have
what the
no
sector says.
experience. I have no experience in the sector at all. I know that we have people that follow BHN that are disabled, that do have to interact with these systems.
Yep.
They were very, very vocal in our chat at the time
Yep.
that the changes that were coming in were going to make their lives exponentially worse and more difficult. I want to hear from them now.
Yep.
Please let us know what you think about this.
They made their announcement at I don't know what you call it, but a whole bunch of suppliers get together in a big hall, whatever those things are called, a conferencey type thing, and the disability. Oh, it was for disabled secondary school students going out of schooling. That's what the thing was. And people who were there, who were the advocates and the workers, they say it's a pretty good start. So it's not. We're not saying this is a bad thing to do, but what we are wanting to make sure that we go is, if you have ballsed up, if you have made hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people's lives more miserable for the last 18 months, just man up and just go, we got it wrong. A politician going, we got it wrong, actually goes a long way, rather than, and I believe we're going to see it, Louise Upston standing by the decisions that were made, which they're now having to correct.
Yeah.
Have relative freedom to spend that on goods and services they and their carers need. But once the money's gone, it's gone.
There's a responsibility that goes with that freedom to spend their budget according to their plan and their choices.
The announcement today, I think, was foundational because
So they're
it's
not
restoring a lot of the
unhappy.
Flexibility.
They're saying it's okay.
More importantly, the trust in people to spend their packages and manage funding to live the lives that they want to live.
I think the government's really come out with a positive announcement that is giving certainty to disabled people in terms of where the system is going. I think it's great they're bringing in choice and control, or at least making choice and control more of a priority. I think it's also great that they're looking at assessments and trying to find a way to make them more uniform across the country.
Has the government got it right?
I think they've got it right. Let's watch now.
Many will be watching for an apology from Simmons over her handling of the saga.
And that's a festering wound that we would love to see an apology for.
In our
Needs to
community, a
front
lot
up.
of people would like a formal apology in the House.
Unlikely, given Upston is defending her.
So you stand by what Penny Simmons did?
Absolutely. It was necessary. It was unfortunate. It was challenging. It created...
Hang on. How can it be necessary and unfortunate? It was necessary and it was unfortunate. Those two things shouldn't go together. If you said it was necessary, we had to make some hard decisions about whatever the policy is, that you can follow the logic. But it was necessary and unfortunate. Those two words shouldn't be put beside each other when you're not apologising for something you should be apologising for, albeit, as we've just heard those advocates say, a better place than where we once were, right? Acknowledging that.
Absolutely. It was necessary. It was unfortunate. It was challenging. It created an incredible amount of stress.
She lost her job because of it, though, the way that she handled it.
Look, it was a challenging time. It was a very big challenge that as a government we had to address.
You acknowledge, though, that the optics of it looked mean-spirited at the time.
I accept that it was incredibly challenging for disabled people.
Sometimes to step forward.
Nope.
No, that's not good enough.
Nope. That is 9th floor PR spin. We made a mistake. We got it wrong. The previous minister got it wrong under the leadership of the cabinet. We are correcting that today. Especially, I'm going to go back because let's just hear these words she uses, right? Because the words she uses, they all say, we did a really bad thing. All the words she uses was, we did a really bad thing, but you're standing by that decision. Yep. So you're standing by the decision of doing a really bad thing. Yep.
Unlikely, given Upston is
Listen to
defending
the
her.
words.
So you stand by what Penny Simmons did?
Absolutely. It was necessary. It was unfortunate.
It was necessary. It was unfortunate.
was challenging.
Challenging.
It created an incredible amount of stress.
It created an incredible amount of stress. So you're
For
saying
which
the
we are
decisions,
sorry.
yes, the decisions that your government made created an immense amount of stress, but it was the right decision to make.
She lost her job because of it, though, the way that she handled it.
Look, it was a challenging time. It was a very big challenge.
Yeah, but it wasn't a challenging time for you. Do you not fucking get it? You chose to make decisions that made it a challenging time for some of New Zealand's most vulnerable people. Now is the time. You're writing the rights. You're writing the money. Good. But now is the time, after you say that, it was a challenging time, finish the sentence, for the people we put in those stressful times, and we apologise for it. It wasn't a challenging time for you. It was a challenging time for the people you were screwing over.
As a government, we had to address.
You acknowledge, though, that the optics of it looked mean-spirited at the time.
I accept that it was incredibly challenging for disabled people.
Sometimes to step forward, you have to step back. Sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry, and we all make mistakes. So being sorry is part of life.
But today, it seemed to be the hardest word.
I agree. Being sorry is sometimes a hard word to say. No, look, it's one of those things, Chewy, and we use this phrase not irregularly on this show. It's they didn't stick the landing. They corrected something in policy, right? I am a bit nervous about it. We'll wait to see how it pans out, because I've been involved in around primary schools when bulk funding came in, where the government basically goes, there's your money. When it's gone, it's gone. I'm nervous about that for the disabled sector. That's what they've literally said. Here's your money. When it's gone, it's gone. Because sometimes you may need more for an unforeseen reason. So I'm not like, I hear that they're the experts and they're going, it's good. Right, but I'm still like, okay, let's now see. It's good. Let's see how it pans out, and how about that apology? Like, it just seems, so hollow. Yeah.
Where's the harm? Like, it's not like one of those things of like, oh, if you have a traffic accident, never admit fault, or that sort of thing. Never say sorry, because that's you admitting fault. This is a government. Like, when we say that the disabled sector is they're some of New Zealand's most vulnerable, they're almost 100% reliant in some cases on government funding of getting an appointment to make sure that they have carers, that they have facilities, sometimes the tools to interact with the world and move around within it. Like, they're incredibly reliant of the government to see what they need to live a more full life. Like, can you imagine? Like, as able-bodied people, I'm the captain of my own ship. You know, I can go and do whatever the fuck I want within limits. A disabled person does not have that. And I think that's a very hard thing for fully abled people to put themselves in that headspace. You know, you see people that get injured, and they might experience just a little bit of that for a little while. And they get real mad, and they get real frustrated, and they get real emotional about it. Now, imagine that's your life. And the government comes in and says, you don't deserve this money, because we have an example, maybe, I'm not going to show you, of someone getting a haircut with government money. Of going overseas for some reason that we won't discuss. Like, it was a shit way to talk to the disabled community, and I think it 100% deserves an acknowledgement and an apology, and they can do that. And it's just like, yes, you're saying sorry, but it's still saving face.
It's funny when we talk about the CEO Prime Minister. I've told the story before about how I made a silly comment on the radio once when I was doing Talkback about, I'll do $1 million giveaway, and I'd always say special conditions apply, because I had a Zimbabwean $1 million bill. And the guy won, and I gave it to him. It was a funny overnight thing. And then he had to go at the place wanting $1 million. And my boss said to me, don't say sorry, and don't admit that you were wrong, because as soon as you do that, they have culpability to come back against you. But this is not, even though he wants to be the CEO, Prime Minister, this is not a business. This is a organisation, the government, that is charged with looking after New Zealanders, especially the most vulnerable. They're not going to come at you and sue you because you got it wrong and said you got it wrong. It's not. You cannot run the country like a business. The apology should be almost the first thing. And we got it wrong, so this is what we're doing to fix it. We really apologise. Decisions were made around the table. We are all culpable for it in cabinet. We got it wrong. You could even farm it off. We got some advice, and perhaps we should have looked further. You know, but the apology, I think, I'm not going to say is as important to the people who are missing out, because completely understand how stressful life became because of your decisions, National, without the money. But I just, it seems to be, this government seems to be good at dehumanising things left, right and centre. Whether it's Māori, it feels dehumanising to go, duh, we got it wrong, but we were still right. Off you go, here's your money. It doesn't feel like that's what you should be doing to human beings you're charged with taking care of. Anywho.
Yeah, classic non-apology.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some chats and then we'll move on and we might have a look at Bomber's show last night. The Southern Moonlight. Has anyone else noticed in the news that everyone's favourite twice convicted fraudster just had his ass handed to him in the High Court? I think it's to do with a plumber or an electrician or something. I don't know the details, but I've seen it in our BHN email, something about there was obviously some kind of dispute. If it's got to do with a tradie, it's a dispute around money or something, but I don't know anything about it other than I've got an email waiting for me to read, and it does talk to a tradie won the case. So we can look at that. James says, this should get some kind of award, don't you think? Don't you think there should be an award for this? Karen Plunkett yelled "terrorist" at me today. I'm like,
well,
you wouldn't.
What were you doing?
Yeah, we kind of need some context there, James.
Were you terrorising him?
Yeah, were you lighting some form of explosive underneath Parliament buildings? Because if you're doing that, might have been an okay thing to call out. Were you eating a pie at a 7-Eleven? Yeah, probably not so much. Is it Tracy? Since Facebook removed the post I shared, I just want to give a huge shout out to young Samuel Leeson from here in Otaki, who is on the flotilla. Need to hear more about him from our own media. Well, I know nothing about this. The flotilla, I'm assuming we're talking about Gaza here, Chewie? Is that what the flotilla is going to be referencing?
Yes. So I know a little bit about the flotilla. It's pretty much the one piece of news that I saw today, because I saw a very brief interview with Greta Thunberg, who is going back again, despite the threats that Israel has made to it. But there is, God, I wouldn't even call it a flotilla. How many? 40 boats? Isn't that a Gaza Armada? But yeah, they're taking another run at Gaza with 40 boats. And the other piece of news that goes hand in hand with that is Italian dock workers in Genoa have said that if Israel stops them, then they will stop any freight and goods coming through their port into Europe. So once again, the unionized dock workers being the collective conscience of an entire country.
Speaking of dock workers, I know because we did it today and yesterday, there's a good podcast coming out tomorrow morning from Craig Rennie on the privatisation of Lyttelton Port, and why perhaps it shouldn't be privatised. Also, Tracy, send us some details. Mail at bhn.nz. That's right. Send us the details of Samuel, and yeah, totally, I agree. We'll follow that up. JC, this is on the disability funding coming back. This will be a relief for many. We sell mobility scooters and have come across people that really need a device, can't afford it, and have no luck getting funds. It's heartbreaking to see people have to fight the government for dignity. Great. Good work. Good job as well. Well done. Gold says, reporters, next question. Why do you think it is that this government can never apologise for the harm and stress their decisions cause? Yep, that's a nice one. I like that. Peter says this government is a confederacy of sociopaths. And Kaimatara says, Upston girl, her mistreatment of disabled people makes you hurl. Her excuses were so paper thin, she'll repeat her practice spin, calling it a win. We got a poet there, and we were unaware of that.
It sounds very close to it, doesn't it?
All right, here's a little palate cleanser for you. This is today over by the stadium. You ready for this? This is the first throw. The first throw, she always goes craziest and does all her little spinny things. Here's my red shoes.
Ball.
This is it. Spins. Lots of circles.
Yeah,
how quick it is too, eh? Yeah. And I make her do it.
Come.
Because I'm mean.
Spin.
Oh, that's cute.
Spin.
It's like, shut up, just throw it already.
Turbo!
So there you go.
Yes, Ilva has much shorter legs. She could not do that.
Yeah, well, I think that would probably go. Nala is very, very ball focused. Like, more so than almost anything else. That's what she's about. Bloop. There you go. So there you go. That was just, yeah. Merch available soon. No, I don't know.
Nice.
Oakley Doka, I said we were going to do Bomber next, so let's do Bomber. Because there's some really interesting reflections on last night's show. It actually does, it's what it feels like. It feels like there's reflections on last night's show, even maybe necessarily anything that we're going to bounce off the back of, because he spoke to Penny and he was talking about the most distressing things that he's seen on this campaign. And a bit later on in the episode, Bomber gave an example of poverty in Auckland as well. And I'm going to play them both. And then there's a third clip I want to play, which is Simon Wilson on the hypocrisy of New Zealand's first immigration narrative. But let's just show these two first of all. It's pretty heartbreaking. The most distressing thing seen whilst from Penny Hanari whilst he's been on the trying to get elected.
On their hands.
What has been the most distressing thing you've seen out in the community?
I knocked on one whānau door in Mangere where there were 18 people in a 3-bedroom home. And some of them were working, some of them were on the benefit, some of them were really young, some of them were old, and it was just, you know, we see a lot when you're in politics, but 18 people in a 3-bedroom home. Wow. And you know what was really awesome, though, Bomber, is they were awesome, and they came out to have a chat with me. We got talking about why it's important to vote and the challenges that they have. And you know what? Despite their circumstance, they're hopeful. So we've got a job to do to make sure that, you know, we represent those people, that we can get real outcomes for those people.
I also think very closely that if you have a look at Penny there, he does look quite a bit like Dr. Dre in my position. I think he's got a bit of a Dr. Dre vibe going on there. So there's another one. Chew, I gotta not queue it up. I've got to get to it though. But that's the first one. And then Bomber tells a story about poverty in Auckland, and it actually starts with Simon Wilson talking about being at a debate for the mayoralty, and only one person even used the word homelessness, and then that goes into a conversation around poverty. Have a listen to from last night.
And in Mount Eden, Helen White, the local Labour MP, to her credit, was the only speaker on the night who used the word homelessness.
Yes.
She was the person who said this is part of this larger issue. Yeah. She did not get a good reception for that, even though this was a room full of Liberal people. Yeah. When it came to their own houses, they didn't want to hear that, didn't want to hear that connection.
Follow-up question. Just want to have a quick chat about poverty and inequality with you. Heard a story last week. Solo mother in a South Auckland home. She had in her cupboards cereal boxes that were filled with rocks, so that when social welfare people turned up and they looked in her cupboard and they checked to see if she had food, they wouldn't take her kids. Now, that to me is such a horrific reality of where we are in 2025 in our city. Yeah. And I can't hear, and I don't hear any solutions other than multi-millionaires being able to buy expensive mansions. That ain't going to help that woman, right? She's having to put rocks in the cereal boxes so she doesn't lose her kids. Thoughts?
I have to say the thing about the multi-millionaires buying mansions, upsets me, not because of itself, but because I think fundamentally it's a red herring. We should be talking about how are we going to build more affordable homes, how are we going to house the people who need it, how are we going to look after the people at the bottom. And that is the housing issue that the city needs to confront. It's really acute in Auckland.
So there's a couple of things to do with poverty and how people are living in Auckland in particular, but I'm sure we can spread that to other parts of the country. I've got another clip to play about Shane Jones's hypocrisy, which is a story told again by the lovely Simon Wilson. But Chewy, you want to respond to either of those first?
I think, God, it's like this the story of the cereal boxes, like that fear of the government coming to scoop up your children because you're poor. It's not a new story. It's an old one. It's something that we would have heard a lot in the 90s.
Yeah.
Under a different national government. And I think Auckland especially is really going to be a focal point of inequality because of how the economy is doing. Like we quite often talk about how Auckland is the engine room of our country just because of the amount of commerce that goes through it. And look, I was at a thing at work where we talk about safety of staff members and that sort of thing, and it's a conversation of what we see and what we see are the pressures of people. Does it drive aggression and that sort of thing? The person that was doing this workshop for us is from Auckland. And she was like, well, how do you guys feel? And we're like, oh, we think things are sort of coming down. They were real bad after COVID. And she's like, wow, it's so different up in Auckland at the moment.
Wow.
Someone gets a bill bigger than what they were expecting. They come in aggressive. They're emotional, reactionary because they don't feel like they can cope with it. And she says that seems to be a vibe throughout the city. So, yeah, I think, National have caused a lot of pain, and there will be people that are looking for hope, that hope things will get better, because at the moment things are very, very bad.
And I guess everything's probably heightened in Auckland, and it's not the same for everyone. Other places in the country, there is higher rents than the odd house in Auckland, but in general, it's so much more expensive to live that your 2-bedroom, $750 a week, flat, that, and then I don't know. I get unfortunately there's so many of these freaking stories now. I get lost, whether it was on this show or whether it was someone else talking about someone had to pick between paying their rent and feeding their kids, and they said, we hope the landlord's going to be okay, because of course they're going to feed their kids first. And I think obviously a part of that is going to be cost of rent. I mean, it's not cheap necessarily anywhere, but what you get in Dunedin for $600 a week is going to be $1,000+ a week in Auckland easily.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not saying it's easier. There are many people who are vulnerable and especially financially vulnerable all around the country. But when you add that extra layer of then the Auckland premium for everything, it just must make it so much worse. And I'm pretty sure on the show last night they said that unemployment might be like 8.5% in Auckland and like 11% for Māori. I could be wrong, but it was higher than the national average that we're looking at the moment. So more expensive, fewer jobs, more debt. You can see why people might come into a store with a bill they weren't expecting and be like, their response is kind of like, what do you expect me to do? Even though it may outwardly come out as anger and shouting. But, how am I going to pay this, so to speak?
Yeah.
Let's get into this last clip, because this last clip is Simon Wilson at his best. And he is talking about going to see Shane Jones speak, I think in Warkworth, which is 45 minutes north of Auckland, maybe a bit less with the new motorways. And either 45 minutes north of Auckland or in rush hour, 6.5 hours. But it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And look, what we constantly say here on the show, I'm sorry if you get bored with this, but we will call out this government. We will hold them accountable to what they insisted the last government would be held accountable to, or to the standards they set for themselves. For example, they promised a full rebuild of Dunedin Hospital. That was their promise. So we're holding them accountable to that, right? And he brings up how Shane Jones sends a message to these elderly white people, let's just be honest, about the healthcare system and how migrants will be impacting their healthcare system. But he leaves out a little bit about who was in government when all these migrants were moving to New Zealand. You may pick up on the hypocrisy as Simon retells the story.
I was up in Warkworth on Sunday listening to Shane Jones.
Were you allowed?
Yeah, I was the only journalist there, and they welcomed me in. Shane Jones spoke to a packed hall, community hall of 300 people, and this is the kind of crowd that turns out to political meetings, and Karen will know who they are.
Yes.
They are older, they are wealthier, and they are white.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that critically. These people actually engage in democracy, and that's good for them.
Sure.
But that's who they were. And Shane looked at them and he said, Jacinda Ardern allowed 250,000 people to come into this country, and by the end of next year they are going to have residency and they are going to be eligible for hip operations. He knew his audience. Wow. They're coming for your hips.
Wow, they're coming for your hips.
And let me tell you,
that's incredible.
His 250,000 number is right.
Yes.
But it refers to the whole 6 years of the Jacinda Ardern, Chris Hopkins governments, plural.
Yep.
Most of those people came in the first term when, of course, New Zealand First and Shane Jones himself were in cabinet.
Right.
It wasn't Jacinda Ardern sitting in a little room by herself signing off visa applications.
Everybody was
the government.
Yeah.
It was a coalition government who did that.
Yeah. So there you go. So Shane Jones and Winston Peters are directly responsible from supporting the legislation that allowed most of those 250,000 people in. And today, Shane Jones stands up and goes, look what Jacinda did. It's exactly the same with COVID. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I hope if there is a podcast God in the sky, I hope he blesseth us next year with some interviews with some of the top political figures from the other side. I want to go through all of those COVID decisions and go, did you vote for this one, Mr. Luxon? Oh, you did. Did you vote for this one, Mr. Luxon? Oh, you did. Did you vote for this one? Oh, you did. Okay. Because they've done very well at going, look what they did, and they were all involved. And it's exactly what Simon was saying of Shane Jones with the story about migrants coming to New Zealand. Migrants came to New Zealand thanks to, in part, Shane Jones and Winston Peters. And now Shane Jones is going, can we all just agree we're blaming Jacinda for the migrants? You know, it's just revolting.
Before I make comment on that, I just want to highlight an absolutely epic comment.
Sure. We need to pay these people. That sounds like
replacement.
That sounds like a T-shirt, doesn't it?
Look, it's an anecdote like that. I mean, we know Shane Jones is bad, right? We know Shane Jones is a performative buffoon who is playing a character because he wants to play the great game of politics. And I fully believe that the aim that Shane Jones has is not to do better for any segment of New Zealand. That would just, if he does good for somebody, that is just a side benefit of Shane Jones staying in politics. He obviously sees it as a great game. He obviously thinks he's very good at it. He'll say whatever he needs to say to whoever he needs to say it to. He needs someone to barrack for, and he needs someone to attack. And as long as he's got that, a taxpayer credit card, a table full of food, and an accountant that's not looking too close into those credit card charges, then Shane Jones is a happy man. The amount of nonsense that he spews, like his latest about we should have nuclear reactors, everybody knows that that's bullshit. But he's gonna spit it out.
I'll disagree with you on one part. He is looking to help one person.
Shane Jones.
Correct. I mean, like when you see him standing up with the drill baby drill and just completely doing the opposite of things he's said and done for the past 20 or 30 years, what other honest held belief, legally speaking, can you come to other than he's looking for a paycheck or to feather his own nest at some stage? I mean, what unless he's done a Fetterman and he's had a head knock and it's all changed dramatically, you know? So I think he's looking, my honest held belief is he's looking to, for himself to do better, if no one else, Chewy. The saga continues from James. Replunket. We distributed leaflets for Gaza in Wellington today. Karen drove over the rainbow crossing in his black SUV yelling, "Terrorists!" I mean, what a complete soft cock tool. I mean, honestly, even if you want to take the Zionist side, the person hanging out leaflets, and these blimmin' snowflakes that get so up in arms when you call them names and it's just, wear it as a badge of honor. Maybe we should get some terrorist t-shirts printed, see if we can sell those. Maybe we can see how they go. Yes, I am a terrorist. So, anywho. Anything else, Chewy? Or should we go to Tūrangawaewae?
Let's go to Tūrangawaewae, which is always fun to say.
Naru Awahia, Tūrangawaewae.
All three coalition partners have revealed they won't be attending the first anniversary of the Māori Queen's coronation. While Christopher Luxon met her last week to acknowledge the anniversary, this is the first time a Prime Minister hasn't visited during the week of Koroneihana in years. Māori Affairs correspondent Te Aniwa Hurihanganui reports.
The gates to Tūrangawaewae Marae today opening to the nation. Iwi leaders from every corner of the land standing side by side.
With our kingitanga, you wouldn't see a hui that can pull together all of the tribes that you see here today.
Many of their fallen are here with them. The late Dame Eritana Tāwhiwhirangi, Sir Bom Gillies and Dame Tariana Turia.
It's obviously a really pouri time, a poignant time as we think of the magic of Auntie Tari and all that she lived for, she dreamed for.
The marae has always been clear everyone is welcome here. And over recent years, party leaders have come too. Last year's Koroneihana visit by Christopher Luxon, particularly memorable.
You've thrown Māori under the bus and you've run them over.
Get rid of all of the Māori bashing racist bills and policies and procedures.
It's surprising this is 12 months ago, yeah? Doesn't this feel like this could be talked about today? God have also. You're going to be happy. You're going to use your favourite four-letter word around Te Pāti Māori when you see how Rawere is specced out as well, by the way.
For some, the sentiment hasn't changed.
I think, if anything, it's escalated. You know, we've seen complete disregard of our reo, our basic fundamental rights as tangata whenua.
The energy's the same, not going to die down.
But the Prime Minister won't be attending this year, and neither will his coalition partners David Seymour and Winston Peters.
Do you think he should come?
Well, that's up to his office and up to the Prime.
I mean, can we just take a minute to go... Can we just take a minute to go, how can, you were sort of talking before about kind of putting on a false front, like almost a faked or an apology you don't really mean to save face. It's what you do. You know, I find that when my kids bring friends home that I haven't met before, the ones who know how to play the game, oh, nice to meet you, thank you for having me. They might just be playing a game, but you know that they're understanding what's going. You know that there's a thing that you're supposed to do when you meet your friend's parents. Like there's a thing you're supposed to do to acknowledge the other signatory to the treaty, to our founding document. And this is one of the things. So even if you don't want to do it, if you're not into it, if you don't believe in it, there's a thing you're supposed to do this. And these guys not doing it is just, I mean, I know we already know they're disrespectful and they show no respect to Māori issues, but it's more than that. It's actually, can we go beyond disrespect? It's a middle finger. It's a slap across the face. It's you're not worthy. You know, it seems that they don't even understand what you're supposed to do. Now, I know that especially ACT and New Zealand First people will be like, I'm glad they didn't go. But this is not actually going to help them politically in the long run. It's just not. Because there are many, many voters who sit in that centre-right position that are like, you should be a part of this. Even if you're not really into it, you're the Prime Minister. This is an important thing in New Zealand. You should be a part of this. I just think it's dumb and naive not to even play the game. As I'm not trying to sound dismissive, and I understand that could be taken as quite flippant, but not to even play the game. It's just stupid. I don't get it, Chewy.
Yeah, look, let's be honest. If they were there, we'd be criticising it. Of not being genuine. I don't know what's in their hearts. I can probably take a stab at it. Their hearts. I would love to take a stab at their hearts. But yeah, this just seems clumsy politics, a missed opportunity. But again, is it more telling of the audience that they're talking to? That they don't want to even put a bit of flex tape over the damage that they've done by making an appearance and showing some form of respect to a Māori movement. No, they don't want to do that.
That's a good call out to flex tape, just between me and you. Well done, sir. I appreciate that call out to flex tape.
That's a lot of damage. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They know that Māori hate them. They know that Māori have noticed everything that they've done while they've been in government, and they know that there's nothing that they can do to fix it. So the only thing here is to make sure that appearing at something like this would damage what their base think about them, that they're pandering to Māori. So we're just going to give Māori middle finger.
Yep.
And just
you're saying, is it a calculation? That's what you're saying. Is it a calculation?
I think it's
would we
mathematical.
lose more votes going than gain? Yeah, from like would we lose more staying away by gain than go, whichever way it is? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. They've got their I don't know. We should get a nickname for Tama Potaka. Like he's the tires under the bus. He's the underbelly. Are there mechanics out there? It's the chassis. Here comes old bus chassis. They keep putting him under the bus so much.
Do you think he should come?
Well, that's up to his office and up to the Prime Minister to decide if he wants to hear Te Iwi Māori in its purest form.
Damn, Rawiri.
I knew you'd do it. It's the chain and the glasses.
Oh, it's a turtleneck. It's a chain.
You down?
Chef's kiss.
Right. Well done.
Te Iwi Māori in its purest form and in its collectivity, he should come and have and listen.
One News understands Christopher Luxon met privately with Te Arikinui Kuini Nga hono i te pō last week to acknowledge the anniversary.
He has his own lines of communication with Kingitanga.
Few are bothered by his absence, focusing instead on what matters most.
The answers to our tomorrow rest in our hands.
The relationships they forge amongst themselves.
That was a very, very, very good idea for Tama Potaka's name, like tarmac, but I'll go you one better. I'm using your idea. It's bitumen. Bitumen's one step better than tarmac. Because tarmac I mean, for some people, you could almost, there's tarmac, what do you say? There's a racial element, but bitumen. So there you go. Bitumen. Bitumen was there. Why you call him bitumen? Oh, they always throw him under the bus. Perfect. Done. Chewy, yours.
I was going to say, even just for that question that Tama was asked, and he goes, "Oh, that's up to the Prime Minister's office." That wasn't the question that you were asked. The question that you asked, and I acknowledge, maybe it's an impossible question for you to answer. Do you think the Prime Minister should be here? Well, I think he should be here, but unfortunately the Prime Minister has his own diary and all. But yeah, it's a weak question from a weak minister.
Bitch mittens? No, bitch mittens. That's not bad either. I quite like that.
But look, at least Potaka was there.
You mean pothole? I still like bitumen better.
Yeah. Look, I have to say that he's probably not going to have a great time there. I'd say that there's going to be a lot of free and frank discussions with him because that's how Māori roll. They'll just fucking tell you. And he'll have to stand there and nod and make some wishy-washy statements that are going to get seen through at the drop of a hat. But again, I want Tamapōtaka to ruminate on this, to sit there and go, why am I the man that's carrying the can? Why do I have to be the token Māori that has to come out here and apologise for the Prime Minister's disrespect, for a government's disrespect? Why does my daughter just keep bullying me at home for being the minister that I am? And maybe he'll snap. Maybe he'll ruminate on it. But it's pretty soft.
And again, Chewy, full credit for the flex tape shout out. Flex tape, was that the one where they cut the thing in half? We cut a dinghy in half. And they put it back together with flex tape.
The classic infomercial. Like I just love this guy swinging a big axe at a big perspex thing of water or something. He goes, "That's a lot of damage," and then putting some flex tape on it.
Oh, it's on Facebook. Hang on. It's really important. We've got a really important thing to show right now. Is this the one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's the guy. But it'd be the other way around. It'd be a black pipe with some white tape on it. But, you know.
All right. Speaking of white tape, a Kiwi-born neo-Nazi is...
Oh!
They
Why did he have to be ours?
They're talking about sending him back to New Zealand. I mean, the immigration lawyers and stuff have got involved, and they don't reckon they can do it because he's actually, I think, an Australian citizen. But we featured him a couple of nights ago, didn't we? With what was going on over in Sydney for the Munch. Was it Munch for America or something? Something like that. I can't remember exactly. So let's see what
his too big mustache.
Let's have a look.
A New Zealand-born self-proclaimed neo-Nazi leader has been arrested in Melbourne and spent the night behind bars after an alleged assault at an Aboriginal burial site over the weekend.
This, by the way, I don't think we have to quite go trigger warning, but the reason I'm showing you the three option and not the one, because I saw them both, is that there is footage of what they did at the Aboriginal protest. And it's not like blood and guts violence, but it's pretty violent. Just giving you a heads up if you're a particularly sensitive person.
Thomas Sewell left New Zealand as a young child, and calls for him to be deported from Australia are growing. Imogen Wells has more.
You don't have to put your hands on me. Shouldn't we have the right to speak in our own country, you coward?
32.
As he's shouting words whilst he's in his own country. Shouldn't we have the right to speak in our own country as you are speaking in your own country with television cameras on you? You fuck knuckle.
You don't have to put your hands on me. Shouldn't we have the right to speak in our own country, you coward?
32-year-old neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell gate-crashing a press conference on Tuesday with Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen as she talked about convening an anti-hate task force in the wake of anti-immigration protests led by Sewell over the weekend.
Australians should have the right to protest. Shouldn't we have the right to speak in our own country, you coward? Have your goons attacked me? Don't put your hands on me. That was a coincidence. We're on our way to court right now.
This is beautiful, by the way. He was on his way to court, yet something happened to him when he left court, which was quite delightful.
Way to face charges relating to intimidating a police officer back in November last year. But he walked out of one case straight into another.
Walked out of court, got arrested.
What happens in the tyranny of Victoria?
No, this is what happens when you commit crimes on camera. When you violently assault people, this is what happens.
You're under arrest for defending yourself.
Sewell was arrested, charged and taken into custody moments after walking out of court for allegedly assaulting people during this violent attack on Sunday.
So this is, remember, he just described this as defending yourself. This is what happens when you defend yourself. This is him defending himself, just so we're clear.
For allegedly assaulting people during this violent attack on Sunday.
This is disturbing.
A group of around 40 white nationalists storming Camp Sovereignty, an Indigenous gathering place and burial site. 4 people were injured.
I was there screaming on the megaphone, get off her, get off her. They stormed us. It was a war front.
The Australian Prime Minister condemning the group's actions.
Here you have people who are saying they're against migration. Well, the first Australians were here before any migrant or descendant of migrants, and that just has no place. That sort of violence has no place.
Before the attack, the group held a March for Australia rally in Melbourne CBD, where they clashed with pro-Palestine marchers. Punches were thrown, flags were burnt, people spat at one another.
We don't have a nation at the moment, we've got a halfway house for the world.
Sewell's called Australia home since his family migrated there in the early 1990s.
So this is the thing, right? This is with all the 501 deportees. This is what I reckon. This walking piece of human excrement is a product of Australia. Yep, might have been born here, fine, but he is a product of Australia. He's been there since he was a young child. He is who he is because of Australia, because of being in Australia, associating with the Australians he's associating with. That is why he is here. He is not a product of New Zealand, which is why I have such a huge problem with the 501 deportees who have been in Australia since they were 6 months old, and they just come back. They know nothing of New Zealand, and you're just basically farming it off. If this person is a product of your society, then your society should need to deal with them.
Oh, it gets better, Pat. It gets better. His family history is Afrikaner.
Of course it is.
So, yeah, I don't know how you solve a problem like this guy. Like, him interrupting that press conference, one of the things that jumps out at me is he said, you don't put your hands on me. Him and his goons are quite happy to put their hands on other people. And he did the typical fucking neo-Nazi bully boy tactic when he attacked that campsite. He went from an anti-immigration rally to then attack and saying it's not about race, it's about immigrants, to then attacking Aboriginal women at a peaceful camp.
Like every brave person should.
Yeah, these guys are bullies. And like a lot of bullies, you have to stand up to them. And I think this is one of the ugly truths of an organisation like this. They're not going to respond to words. They're not going to respond to, the law coming after them. They'll wear it as a badge of honour.
Yeah.
And I think over in Melbourne at the moment, knowing that these guys are around, are quite happy to rally almost 100 people for a march in the middle of the night, that they can scramble up 40 people to attack that encampment at the drop of a hat, that they now feel that they have all of these people. Like we said, these guys didn't come down for this rally because they were supporting Nazi ideals. They were just coming down for other reasons. It might be adjacent to white Australia. It might be some concerns over housing because they feel like immigrants are coming to take them. But they feel, this hardcore group of Nazis now feel that all of these people with the flag support them. They are gassed up. And I think anybody that goes to stand up to these guys should go with the expectation that it will end up in violence. And by that, I mean protect yourselves.
The other thing about this kind of rally is, I put this up on a few places today, and some people going, well, I know people who were there and he was booed. It's like, even if this wasn't representative, his extreme views weren't representative of 99% of the people there. Maybe him speaking there might attract another few hundred people. Like you always say, Chewy, when you go into the bar, the penny might drop for a few. Oh, that's okay, and then all of a sudden there's not 40 rushing, there's 400 next time, because through this normalizing of it, you're able to then influence more people, pull them in, like any cult, pull them in with the equivalent. I don't know what the Nazi equivalent is of love bombing is. Probably hating dark skinning or something. And then it just grows, and then all of a sudden it's the issue is not the issue are the migrants, but what about the British ones over there? Oh, they're not really the migrants we have issues with. It's these ones with more melanin in their skin. It's these ones from the Middle East. They're the ones that are really causing. Oh, okay, so those migrants are okay, and then you just drag them in, and then you've got, like I put in my tweet, a rally of neo-Nazis eventually.
The other thing that I would say is that there's historical pointers of how to deal with the movement like this. And I'm talking about Oswald Mosley in the UK. He did several rallies over the years. Many of them were met by violence, by people that were going to stand up with him. My favourite is, I think, the people of Manchester hit him with a brick halfway through a speech. That is how this stuff needs to be combated. And when people say that violence is never the answer, sometimes violence is the answer. These guys are going to use it as a tool for their movement. They expect people not to counter them.
I'm not sure if it's going to be in the last kind of 30 seconds of this, but there's also in one of these stories, either one or this one, talks about his connection to the Christchurch massacre as well. So, this dude's got form in other areas.
But calls for the government to revoke the white supremacist citizenship and deport him back here are growing, with more than 53,000 people signing this petition in a matter of days. Australian deportation rules mean he could be sent back to New Zealand after facing criminal charges.
We will not be silenced by hate. Deport him, We don't need him here.
Sewell was due back in court today after a night behind bars. The cases against him mounting, along with pressure to boot him out of the country.
He's also very much Billy Big Nuts when he's got all his mates behind him, doesn't he? That's how the other side of people like this who think that they've got the world behind them. Yeah, so it didn't say that, but in the One News story, it talked about his connection to Tarrant, and that they said he invited him to a group 2 years earlier. I wasn't clear whether it was Tarrant who invited him or him who invited him, but there's a connection there to some of the best people in the world. There you go, Julie. That's us.
I want to say 2 points here. The call to deport him and, the similar calls to deport the Christchurch shooter. I'm not even going to say his name. It's important for friendly nations like Australia and New Zealand to reach a compromise because, diplomacy is important. So I'm going to solve this. I'm going to solve both things in one hit, Pat. Brace yourself.
Right.
This is diplomacy Chewy style.
I'm ready.
We compromise. We deport them halfway.
I think someone says that.
We deport them halfway. We just drop them halfway between the two countries. Let nature sort it out. The other thing I'm going to do...
Meet them halfway.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because this is a fun thing to talk about, I talk about people standing up to Oswald Mosley and the hilariously named British Union of Fascists. Liverpool, 1937. During a speech, Mosley was hit with a large stone and fell, and mounted police charged the crowd.
Oh.
The crowd of people that had come to counter the fascists. Police on the fascist side. Just a note. Then the absolutely fantastic Battle of Cable Street, where the British Union of Fascists were going to march through a primarily Jewish immigrant part of London in the East End. It was met with organised resistance from the people that lived in those neighbourhoods, Jews and communists. And again, the police had the backs of the fascists. In Manchester in 1962, Mosley's march was attacked again by anti-fascists, forcing him to call it off. Dalston, 1962. Upon arriving for a meeting, a crowd shouted, "Down was Mosley," and he was beaten, and then the meeting was called off. East London, 1962. Mosley and his followers were attacked by locals, leading to a collapse of his meeting. Now, in all of these cases, it's not the police that are stopping the fascists. It is the people that know what these movements have led to, that know their history, and importantly, know what the Nazis said about it. They famously said if people knew and stood up to us, we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we did.
Yep. A couple of chats that have come in. Ivan says, tyranny with an eye roll. Eye roll. Tyranny. Rajan says, I say deport him to the mega prison in El Salvador. Maybe Trump's got a point. He knows that place about as well as most of the immigrants Trump deported there. Another one from Ian here. Thank you for the super chats. We already have Brian, Destiny, and their thugs. We don't need another one. Oh, another one just came in. Avids, ACAB, they'll do anything to protect capitalism. ACAB. Okay. I know it's a bit of a shorter one tonight, Whānau, but I've got to make a drive up north now. So I'm getting in an hour-long car ride. So we're going to cut out of here pretty much now. Is there anything else before we wrap up, Chewy? It's a good show, actually. It's a bit weird. It feels like we've done a sprint, even though we lost 6 minutes of you sweeting at the beginning. I can't wait to go back and watch that, by the way.
Please,
please
cut
I'm just
it out.
so... I can't cut it out. It's live, bro. It's on the internet. Everyone should... Well, I'm going to even do a clip of it tomorrow.
You're going to do a clip of it and upload it. Like, do you want to see Chewy shit his chair?
Yeah. How is it like? Has the smell cleared your room yet, or does it still smell a bit like that? Is it, is it any way, shape, form whatsoever?
Oh, you
now,
can't wing a political commentary show. I tell you that much.
Tomorrow night, I actually haven't responded to our friends from the Greens, but tomorrow night I think we might have a guest coming up. Chewy, can you just talk to yourself for a second? I've just got a person I need to...
Oh, I've already tried that. Didn't go very well. We were just talking about it. Oh, you've cut your mic. Oh, fantastic.
I turned off my mic because now my 19-year-old comes in and goes, bye, love you. And I go, and she goes, no, love you. And so I have to play the game. It's a lovely game. I like the game. But I just, or she would have stayed there looking at me for the next 7 minutes. Sheesh. Ugh. Yeesh. All right, there's one starred commenting there. Have we done it? Oh, there we go. I'm glad none of the coalition of chaos leaders attended. Yeah, I mean, I think there's it's one of those things, and Chewy, you said that we'd be criticising if they were just there just for the appearance sake. I don't know if I would be completely, because I know that I might be a bit different from you and from some others that watch it, but there is a job description to this thing. And this is the thing, if you're the Prime Minister, there are some things that you need to do. There are some jobs that you need to do. This is one of them. So I would happily say I wish they would be there of their own volition. But in this kind of ceremonial, very, very important day, he should be there. It should be a part of his job description. So I probably wouldn't go, he's only there for look, because it's the appropriate, it's the appropriate place for the Prime Minister, if no one else to be, is at that space. So, anyway. All right, team. So, yeah, we possibly, I'll try and remember to get back to the Greens. I'll try and do it tonight and see if we have someone on tomorrow night. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done for the night, Chewy. It's a super speedy one for us tonight. I don't know.
But before you hit the button,
I've got whiplash. Yeah, sorry, you go.
I'm just going to say one thing before you can do that and take it away.
You stole it off me.
I'm going to give people homework.
Okay.
When I talk about some of you will know this very well, but for those of you that don't know about the Battle of Cable Street, I recommend that you go and search this video out. It's on the London History Show, the Jay Draper on YouTube. The Battle of Cable Street. It's a nice short one. It's 11 minutes long, or almost 12 minutes. It is an excellent video, not only talking about the Battle of Cable Street itself and Oswald Mosley, but also what London was like at that time, and the fact that it came out of a time of great economic hardship where people turned on immigrants. Just saying. Go and have a watch of that. I'll put it up in the chat as well.
And other than that, team, we will catch you tomorrow night for the next edition of Big Hairy News. People are going to go back and watch the start, Chewy. Look, they're saying they're going to go. They're going to go watch it.
No, never happened.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the
They're all going to have a look. Beautiful. Me too. I'm going to have a look as well, guys.
Ah, you've all turned on me.
Lots of people confirming, Chewy, that Battle of Cable Street's well worth looking on. Well done, Chewy, and your sidekick, Pat. Kia kaha to our nurses tomorrow. Oh, yeah, true. Nurses strike tomorrow. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow night as well. So, well remembered, very short, which, if that is your real name.
Simeon Brown is forever a little bitch.
Yeah. Speaking of very short, Simeon Brown. Okay, guys, we'll catch you tomorrow night from 9 p.m. for our next live edition of Big Hairy News. Hooroo!
Cheers, fam.